Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to our live session today. Today, we're going to discuss articles. Yesterday, we discussed pronouns, and the day before yesterday, we discussed nouns. And today, we will see what articles are and how articles help us in constructing sentences and where they belong in a sentence and all other important usages of articles. All right, so let's get started. What are articles? Articles are words that define a noun as specific or unspecific. Articles are words that define a noun as specific or unspecific. Examples: after the long day, their cup of tea tasted divine. After the long day, their cup of tea tasted divine. After a long day, a cup of tea tastes divine, right? So by using the definite article the in the first example, we mean that after a particular long day, the particular cup of tea drunk tasted really good. By using the indefinite article a in the second example, we mean that after any long day, any cup of tea would taste really good, right? So what are the differences between the two examples? You see, in the very first example, we've used the article the twice. First, before long day, and second, before cup, right? Okay, so in both cases, we've used the definite article the, and when we've used the definite article the, we have tried to mean that, you see, after a particular long day, not just any long day, maybe this long day has been today, right? So after a particular long day, the cup of tea that I have had or someone has had tasted divine, as in tasted really good. You follow? Right. So after the long day, the cup of tea tasted divine. But if you were to replace the definite article the with the indefinite article a and say after a long day, a cup of tea tastes divine, what would that mean? That would mean that after any long day, it does not specify. It does not talk about any particular day. It does not talk about any specific dates. It tells you about any long day, right? So after a long day, a cup of tea tastes divine. So here, there is no specification. There is no particularity. There is no specificity, right? So in the first example, the nouns day and cup are specific after the long day, not just any long day, but maybe one specific long day that the speaker is talking about. The cup of tea tasted divine, meaning the very cup of tea that the speaker has drunk, right? So after the long day, the cup of tea tasted divine. On the other hand, if you use a, you mean after any long day, any cup of tea tastes divine. So there is no specification, there is no specificity, there is no particularity about which day you're talking about, or which cup of tea you're talking about. All right? Okay. Moving on to the next slide. Here we have a discussion on the types of articles. So how many types of articles are there? There are generally two types of articles. Not generally, actually. There are just two types of articles. The definite article and the indefinite article, right? So we have only one definite article, and that one definite article is the. And we have two indefinite articles, the second type of articles, and we have two indefinite articles, and the two indefinite articles are a and an, right? So we have two types of articles: the definite article the and the indefinite articles a and an. Okay, all right. Okay, now. Let us discuss the definite article. We use the definite article the when we want to specify a singular or a plural noun. For example, a friend may ask, "Are you going to the party tomorrow?" Now, this party is not any party, but a very specific party, a party that both the people conversing know about. We can put the before singular, plural, and uncountable nouns. Consider the following examples. Please pass me the pen. The milk we drank at breakfast was delicious. The courses I partook in last year are coming handy now. The jury has decided in the defendant's favor. Now we will discuss each of the examples in detail. Let's just reread the definition of the definite article. Now, which one is the definite article? The definite article is, of course, the article the, right? And we use the definite article when we want to specify a singular or a plural noun. Therefore, this means that you can put the before both singular and plural nouns. We can put the before both singular and plural nouns, right? Okay. Then what? Right. So, for example, a friend may ask you, are you going to the party tomorrow? Are you going to the party tomorrow? So when someone asks you that if you're going to the party tomorrow, so the person's asking and you, both of you know which party both of you are talking about, or both of you may be going to, right? This is not just any party. This is not an unspecific party. This is a definite party. This is a certain party. This is a recognized or a known party, some party that both of you may be going to, right? So are you going to the party tomorrow? Now, when you say the party, of course, you mean a specific party, a certain party, a definite party, a particular party, not just any gathering, not just any occasion, not just any party, but a very specific party. Now, this party is not any party, but a very specific party, a party that both the people conversing know about. We can put the before singular, plural, and uncountable nouns. Now, remember this very important feature of the definite article the can be put before both singular nouns, and plural nouns. Also, of course, you can put the before uncountable nouns as well, right? Take a look at the examples. Please pass me the pen. When you say please pass me the pen, you mean not just any pen, but a very specific pen. Maybe you and the one who you're asking to pass the pen, right? Both of you know which pen you are talking about, right? So please pass me the pen. This means not any pen, but a very specific pen. Okay, number 2, the milk we drank at breakfast was delicious. Now, you're not talking about any milk. You're not talking about any glass of milk or any milk. You're talking about the very milk that you drank at breakfast or during breakfast, right? So the milk we drank at breakfast was delicious. Now, note, pen is a singular noun in this case, right? Please pass me the pen. So you're not talking about more than one pen. You're only talking about one pen. So you say pen. If you were to talk about multiple pens, then you would say pens with an S at the end, right? So you say, please pass me the pen. So pen is a singular noun, and you have put the before it because it is a specific pen. Now, in the second example, milk is an uncountable noun, right? It cannot be counted. It may be quantified. Yes, it may be measured, but it is not countable. So you say the milk. So this shows that we can also put the definite article the before milk, right? Or before uncountable nouns, like milk. So the milk we drank at breakfast was delicious. The courses I partook in last year are coming handy now. Take a look at the third example. The courses I partook in last year are coming handy now. In this example, as you can see, you have put the definite article the before a plural noun in this case, which is courses, right? Now you're talking about multiple courses that you partook in last year, and those courses are now coming in handy for you, right? As in those are proving to be very useful to you. Now, these are not just any courses. These are not random courses. These are the courses that you partook in last year. So these are very specific courses. These are very specific courses that you partook in. So these are specific, these are certain, these are definite, and these are particular, right? So the mention must be made particularly as well, or definitely as well. Therefore, you use the definite article the before it. So you say, the courses I partook in last year are coming handy now. Clear? Okay. Now the fourth example, the jury has decided in the defendant's favor. Now, when we were studying nouns on our first day of this particular course, right, we discussed group nouns or collective nouns, right? Now, as an example of collective noun, I did mention the word jury. Jury is, of course, a group of people put together in a court when they have to pass a judgment on a defendant, right? On a defendant's action or inaction. So here, you are not talking about any jury. You're not talking about any group of 12 people. You're talking about a very specific group of 12 people, or a very definite, or a very certain, a very particular group of 12 people put together in a court to pass a judgment on a specific defendant, right? So you say the jury. Therefore, you can also put the definite article the before group nouns as well, before collective nouns as well, as long as those collective nouns are specific, right? So if it's a specific collective noun and you want to specify it or be certain about it, you want to be definite about it. So you can accordingly, you put the definite article the before that collective noun. So the jury has decided in the defendant's favor. The jury has decided in the defendant's favor. Okay? Are we clear? All right, I've got some beautiful comments over here. Ninja Moni is saying, Assalamu alaikum, sir. Wa alaikum assalam. I was eagerly waiting for your class. Thank you very much. I was also waiting to get back to all of you and discuss articles with all of you today. Riyazul Islam Chaudhary says, hello, sir. Hello to you, Riyazul. And we have Russell Arman here. He says, very important class to me. Yes, thank you so much. That this is important to you. That makes me feel important. And I'm glad to be here to be discussing nouns with all of you. I hope you will learn what you are seeking to learn, inshallah. All right? Okay. Now, moving on to the next slide, we have indefinite articles, right? So by now, we've discussed what definite articles are, what the definite article is about, and how we use the definite article. If there is any query you still have, or if there is any clarification that you would like me to clarify, if there is any clarification needed, of course, do let me know so in the comment section, right? Okay, here we have a question. Let's see. Ms. Baldwin Ahmed is asking, everyone at the table has finished his or her lunch except you. Please explain why the answer is his or her and not there. All right, okay, good question. Now you see, here we have an indefinite pronoun, right? An indefinite pronoun, which is everyone. Now, I discussed pronouns yesterday, and when I was doing so, I think I did clarify the fact that the word everyone, the pronoun everyone signifies singularity, right? Yes, the connotation, the definition, or the meaning, the indication behind the pronoun everyone is many people or all the people. Somewhere, all the people. You're talking about all the people, or in this case, all the people who were having lunch, right? But when you refer to them with the pronoun everyone, you talk about them individually. So individually, as single people or as a single person, each person has finished his or her lunch except you. You see, which is why we're going with his or her and not their. We would go with there if we were to say all the people at the table, right? So if we said all the people at the table is finished, then we would go with not his or her, but their. So we would say all the people at the table has finished their lunch except you. But since we're going with everyone, which is of course an indefinite pronoun, and it signifies singularity, it signifies individuality. So we're saying everyone at the table has finished his or her lunch except you. Not his or her, not their. Are we clear? If not, do let me know again. I'll try to clarify it once again. All right. We have another query here. Hello, so would you please explain the second example, the milk, briefly? Why here is the Acha. So we have a question from Muhammad Shahari Rahman. He's asking, why are we using the before milk? Okay, all right. You see, going back to the previous slide over here, we are using the before milk in this case because we are being particular about the milk. As in, you see, you drank some milk at breakfast, okay? You were having breakfast in the morning, and besides all the other things that you have eaten, you've also drunk some milk, right? Now you want to make a comment about the milk that you have drunk, and you want to say that the milk that you have drunk is delicious, or the milk that you drank was delicious, right? So now you want to talk about it. So this is a very specific amount of milk that you're talking about, or that you want to talk about. You're not talking about any milk, right? You're not talking about some milk that is available on the market, right? You want to talk about the milk that you drank during breakfast, right? So it's a very specific milk that you want to talk about, which is why to specify the milk, to talk definitely about the, you are bringing in the definite article the, and you're putting it before that uncountable noun, right? Which is why we're saying the milk we drank at breakfast was delicious. The milk we drank at breakfast was delicious. You understand? The milk we drank at breakfast was delicious. Okay. Now note this as well. If you don't want to talk about the milk that you drank during breakfast, but you want to talk about milk in general, right? You want to talk about milk in general, not any specific glass of milk, not any specific amount of milk, but any milk, right? Milk in general. So you say milk is a healthy drink. You can say so. Milk is a healthy drink. In that case, you don't have to put any article before milk, not a, not an. You just say milk is a healthy drink and something like that. Okay? All right. Moving forward to the next slide. Or did we discuss definite article? Yes, we did. Now we're going to discuss the indefinite articles. Now there are two indefinite articles, a and an. Both the articles are put before nouns. This is important. Let's take a good look at this. Okay. Now, there are two indefinite articles, a and an. Both the articles are put before nouns that are not specific or particular or definite. Therefore, when we want to talk about something unspecific, we use either of the articles. However, which of the two is to be used before an unspecific noun depends on the sound of the noun. Most importantly, indefinite articles are always put before singular nouns, not plural. Consider the following examples. All right. Please pass me a glass of water, please. I would like to have an apple. We have bought a car. My father is an honest and hardworking man. I would like to become a big shot in the corporate fraternity, right? Okay. Let's reread the definition of the indefinite articles. The definition of indefinite articles. All right. So there are two indefinite articles. The second type of articles is, of course, the indefinite articles. Now, there are two indefinite articles, a and an. Now, both these articles are put before nouns that are not specific or particular or definite, unlike the nouns used after the definite article, the, right? Therefore, when we want to talk about something unspecific, something something that is not been mentioned before, or something that you want to talk about in general, right? And of course, it is single in number, we use the indefinite articles. However, which of the two is to be used before a non-specific noun depends on the sound of the noun. Most importantly, remember this. Indefinite articles are always put before singular nouns, not plural. We don't put a or an before nouns that are plural. We put a or an before nouns that are single, right? Before nouns that are singular. You understand? Never before plural nouns. Okay, such as the examples. Pass me a glass of water. Here you're talking about one glass of water, right? Not two glasses, not three glasses, but just one glass of water. I would like to have an apple. Here you're talking about one apple, not two, not three, not a dozen. We have bought a car, right? One car. My father is an honest and hardworking man. Now you're talking about your father, and of course you have one father. So you say, my father is an honest and hardworking man. I would like to become a big shot in the corporate fraternity. In this case, you're talking about yourself, and you yourself is a single person. You're an individual. Therefore, you say a big shot, right? Okay. Now, take a look at this. We put the indefinite article a before singular nouns. Right. All right. We put the indefinite article a before singular nouns that begin with a consonant letter. And make a consonant sound when pronounced. Consider the following examples. I want to buy a laptop. I want to buy a laptop. We would like to build a house. Would you like a cup of tea? We put the indefinite articles and before singular nouns that begin with a vowel letter make a vowel sound when pronounced. Consider the following examples. You must eat an egg every day. Her husband is an honest man. Could you please buy an umbrella for me when you go to the mall? Right? Okay. So we have learned, so far we've learned that the definite article the is put before definite nouns, right? Specific nouns. Okay. And the nouns that follow the definite article the can be either singular or plural, right? All right. Can be both singular either singular or plural. But in case of the indefinite articles, the nouns that follow indefinite articles must always be singular. However, we have two indefinite articles, right? A and an. Now, how do we know which article to put before a specific, before a singular noun? So we put the indefinite article a. We put the indefinite article a before singular nouns that begin with a consonant letter. Now, do you know what consonant letters are? Right? I hope you do. You see, we have about 26 letters in the English language, right? 26 alphabets. Now, among these 26 alphabets, 5 of them are vowel letters, and they are A, E, I, O, U. The rest are all known as consonant letters. So nouns that begin with consonant letters and also make consonant sounds are the ones before which we put the indefinite article a, given they're singular, right? Like in here, I want to buy a laptop. Now you're talking about one laptop, and laptop starts with L, which is of course a consonant letter, and it makes a consonant sound when you pronounce laptop. So you put the indefinite article a before it. So you say, I want to buy a laptop. Okay. We would like to build a house. In this case as well, you see the noun house starts with H. Now H is another consonant letter. And also when you pronounce house, you make a consonant sound. And you're talking about one house, so you put a before it. And this is not a specific house, not a definite house, any house, so you say a house. Would you like a cup of tea? In this case as well, would you like a cup of tea? Now here, you say cup, and cup is written with a C at first, and C in this case is a consonant letter, and the word cup also makes a consonant sound, so you put the indefinite article a before it, right? Also, given the fact that cup is singular in this case, so you say, would you like a cup of tea, right? Okay. Now, on the other hand, we put the indefinite article an before singular nouns that begin with a vowel letter and make a vowel sound when pronounced. Consider the following examples. You must eat an egg every day. Her husband is an honest man. Could you please buy an umbrella for me when you go to the mall? Now, be very attentive in this. You see, egg is, of course, a singular noun, and you're talking about one egg, that's good. But egg is spelled with an E at the very beginning, right? So when you say egg, you have to make a vowel sound because the letter E is a vowel letter. So when you pronounce egg, you make a vowel sound, right? Egg, which is why you're having to put the indefinite article an before it. So you say, you must eat an egg every day. Okay. But what about the very next sentence? Honest, right? Now, the word honest starts with not O, but H. Now, we know that H is not a vowel, right? Because H does not fall in the vowel category. It's like A, E, I, O, U. And we don't have an H in that. So what about this? H is a consonant letter. But when you say honest, when you pronounce the word honest, it makes a vowel sound. It doesn't make a consonant sound, does it? It doesn't. Since you don't say honest, you say honest. So since this word makes a consonant, a vowel sound, we are putting the indefinite article an before it and not a. So we say, her husband is an honest man. Okay? All right. Now, could you please buy me an umbrella for me when you go to the mall? This is very straightforward. You see, we have the vowel U at the beginning of the word umbrella. And of course, once pronounced, when you pronounce the word umbrella, it makes a vowel sound. So we go with an umbrella and not a umbrella. So could you please buy me an umbrella for me when you go to the mall? All right, I hope you're clear. And now you're going to see this, exceptions. Choosing a or an. We've got some exceptions here. Now, before I move on to the exceptions, I think we have a query here. And I would like to answer the query. All right, Mahmoud Shamsuzohar Rocky has this question. Is that necessary to register again? I already registered yesterday. All right, no, of course not. If you have registered once, you don't have to register again. Please, this is very straightforward. You don't have to. It's written on the form. It's already written on the form that you don't have to re-register given you've registered once. Okay? All right. Tanjila Afroz, Alisa has this question. Hello, sir. I have some question regarding pronouns. Okay. I have been struggling with the usage of I, me in a sentence, like when should we use I instead of me or vice versa? Here are a few examples of the sentences. My wife and I went to the concert last night. Between you and me, I think it's a silly idea. Nothing to do with you and me, so I will be glad if you can help me out. All right. Okay. If you did you participate in the in our session yesterday? Because if you had, you wouldn't have had this question. But not a problem though. I'm still answering this query of yours. But you see, I is the subject pronoun. I is the subject pronoun, right? Is the subject personal pronoun. And me is the object personal pronoun. And I was discussing yesterday that when you are an action taker, right? When you are an action taker, or when you are taking an action in a sentence, you go with I. But when you are receiving an action in a sentence, you go with me. Such as, for example, if I say that I gave you a book. Follow this. I gave you a book, right? So in this sentence, I took an action, right? I took an action. I'm the action taker over here. I gave you a book. And you, on the other hand, the word you in this sentence has received an action from me since I gave you the book, right? Or I gave you a book. But let's just change this, or let's just completely say it in a different way. And let's say you have given something to me, right? So you have given a book to me, right? So in this case, I did not take any action. Rather, I received action from you, right? So I'm using me and not I, you see, because I'm on the receiving end. So you say, or we say, you gave me a book. You gave me a book. So I received something from you. I received an action from you. Since I was or I am on the receiving end, I'm using the object personal pronoun me and not I. Are we clear? I hope so. So my wife and I went to the concert last night. Yes, because both you and your wife did something. You took an action. Both of you took an action together. So you say my wife and I and not my wife and me, right? My wife and I went to the concert last night. So an action went from you and your wife, or an action was taken from you and your wife's part, right? Both of you were the action takers. Both of you were action takers. So you say I and not me. You see? Okay. And about between you and me, I think it's a silly idea. Now about this, of course, between you and me, I think it's a silly idea. In this example, of course, you see, there is something between the two of you, right? There is something between the two of you. Both of this, you and me, are on the receiving end. You follow? Because both of you have something to you. Maybe something has been given to both of you. And what has been given to both of you? A secret. So both of you have received a secret. So since both of you are on the receiving end, you say, between you and me, I think it's a silly idea, right? You mean to say that, you believe and the other person also believes that the idea that you may have been talking about is silly and you don't want this to go out, right? So between you and me, I think it's a silly idea, not between you and I. You would say you and I, when you and the other person are going to take an action or have taken an action or want to take an action or did take an action in the past, something like that. So whenever you're on the receiving end, you go with me. When you are on the giving end, it's like, some action going from you, you say I. And when you receive, you say me. Okay? All right. Now, Ninza Moni has another question. A house and honest, why we put a and before H. Just as I was saying, you see, for in case of house, you make a consonant sound, right? Because generally or naturally, the word H, the letter H, is a consonant letter. It's not a vowel letter. So any word that begins with H, such as, for example, house, hotel, home, these are all consonant words because all these words are begun with the consonant letter H, right? And when you pronounce these words, you make a consonant sound: house, home, house, home, and what else? Hotel, right? Yes. But on the other hand, when you say honest, this is an exception. You have to understand this first. This is an exception. This is not a general case. Honest is an exception. So when you say honest, you're not pronouncing the H. The H is kept silent. You're actually skipping H and you're starting from O and you say honest and not honest, right? Which is why, because you're saying honest and the word is making a vowel sound, you are having to put the indefinite article "an" before it and not the indefinite article "a" before it. So a house, but an honest person. Are we clear? I hope so. Okay. Now, this particular slide should make things clearer to all of you. Let's read what we have on the slide. Exceptions, choosing a or an. There are some words that begin with a vowel letter. There are some words that begin with a vowel letter but make a consonant sound when pronounced. For example, university and unicorn both begin with the vowel letter U. But when used in university or unicorn, the letter makes a consonant sound. Therefore, we put a before university and unicorn. Consider the following examples. My uncle is a United States citizen. My cousin works for a UK-based company. My 3-year-old niece wants a unicorn for her birthday. I would like to teach at a university someday. Yeah. What's happening in all of these cases, in these examples? We know that U is a vowel, right? Because we say A, E, I, O, U. We know the 5 vowels and we know that U is a vowel. But why are we not putting an before this vowel word, this vowel letter, and we're going with A? Because each of these words, United States, UK, unicorn, university, right? All these words, they're making a consonant sound, right? Because the word U or the sound U is a consonant sound. This is not a vowel sound. A vowel sound would be ah, such as, for example, if you say umbrella. So the ah of umbrella is a vowel sound, right? But when you pronounce U or you make the sound U with the help of the letter U, you're not making a vowel sound, you're making a consonant sound. So a university. We never say an university. We say a United States citizen. A United States citizen, not an United States citizen. Okay, we say a UK-based company. A UK-based company, not an UK-based company. We say a unicorn, not an unicorn. All right? This is an exception. This is not one of the general rules. Of course not, but this is an exception. And we must also recognize and learn the exceptions as well if we are speaking English and writing English properly. Okay? All right. Now moving on to the next slide, we have another set of exceptions. Okay. Let's read what we have here. Likewise, there are some words that begin with a consonant letter but make a vowel sound when pronounced. Accordingly, we put an and not a before such words. Consider the following example. I would like to be an honest person all throughout my life. I would like to be an honest person all throughout my life. My friend's family has bought an LED TV. My friend's family has bought an LED TV. Does the name begin with an N? My brother is an LLM trainer at Arcmatics, Bangladesh. I dream to buy an SUV someday. She wants to be an HR executive. She wants to be an HR executive. Now, what's happening in all these cases? What do you see? You see, each of these nouns, each of the nouns that we've used here, the examples, have all begun with consonant letters, right? Such as, for example, honest has begun with H, we know H is a consonant letter. Okay. Then, of course, LED, right? LED, the word L or the letter L is a consonant letter. The letter N is a consonant letter. The letter L in LOM is another consonant letter. The letter S in SUV is another consonant letter. The letter H in HR is another consonant letter. Although, despite all of these words beginning with consonant letters, right, we have chosen to put an before each of them and not a. Why? Because of the sound each of these words make when you pronounce them. Each of these words makes a vowel sound when you pronounce them, such as, for example, honest. When you say honest, you're making a vowel sound because you're skipping H. You're skipping the H. You're keeping the H silent, and you're saying an honest, right? LED, in case of LED as well. What do you say? You say L. When you pronounce L, right? If you break down the spelling of L, it's spelled as E and L put together, right? EL. EL makes the sound L, right? So, which is why you're having to say an LED TV and not a LED TV. Okay. Same with N. If you spell the letter N, you would have to say E and N makes N. E and N make N, right? So N. Therefore, it is making a vowel sound. So you say an N. Similarly, with an LOM trainer, an SUV, break down the spelling of S. What do you have? E S. E plus S are equal to S. Therefore, an S or an SUV. Similarly with H, you don't say H. Do you say H? Well, yes, in some countries, H is pronounced as H, but generally H is pronounced as H all over the world, generally. Yes, we do have some exceptions in some places, but generally H is pronounced as H, so we say an H and not a H, right? So we say she wants to be an HR executive. I dream to buy an SUV someday. My brother is an LOM trainer at Arcmatics Bangladesh. Does her name begin with an N? My friend's family has bought an LED TV. I would like to be an honest person all throughout my life. Agreed? I hope so. If not, do post your queries in the comment section. We have another query here from Taif Talukdar. He's asking, sir, can you please discuss about another exception such as a one-eyed man? Yes, thank you for asking this question, Taif. As you can see over here, the word is, or the phrase is, a one-eyed man, right? So in this case as well, the word one, right? The word one is pronounced, when pronounced, it makes a sound, it makes a vowel sound, right? Sorry, it makes a consonant sound, right? One, because you cannot possibly just say an one. It's just unnatural. So one, or wa, the sound wa is a consonant sound. So we say, a wonderful place, right? A wonderful place, or it's a wonderland, right? So likewise, one is a consonant sound, or the word one makes a consonant sound, which is why you have to put a before it and not an. So you say a one-eyed man, a one-legged man, a what else? A one-storied building. You see? Not and one, not that. But we say a one. A one-eyed man, a one-legged man, a one-storied building, right? I hope it's clear. Okay. Ishrat Jahan Zareen, of course, yes. Why we use a European, of course, because of the sound the word makes, and it is a consonant sound, yo, just like you, right? As I was discussing you earlier, universe, university, unicorn. In all these cases, the word the sound U is a consonant sound. You cannot say an U. That, if you do so, that will be unnatural, right? Because it doesn't feel natural if you say, I'm going to an university. It doesn't sound nice, doesn't go natural, doesn't go with the flow, right? So it has to be a university. And U, of course, just like wa, the sound U, like the sound wa, is a consonant sound, right? Which is why we are putting a before it, not an. If the sounds were vowel sounds, we would go with an, right? Okay, so a European man, a European woman, a European country, right? A European culture, something like that. Okay, I hope this is clear. We have another question from Sanjana Tarandam. Fortune favors the brave. Here we use the indefinite article before brave. But normally we don't use the indefinite article before abstract noun like love and joy. So my question is, when we need to use indefinite article before abstract noun, I really appreciate your help. Thank you so much, sir. All right. First of all, you see, we're not using the indefinite article here. Fortune favors the brave. Now, the is not an indefinite article. The is the definite article, the one and only definite article. So this is a definite article. Now, yes. Now, your question is, fortune favors the brave, and brave is an abstract noun. Definitely, yes. Of course, you're correct. Absolutely, that brave is an abstract noun and not a concrete noun that can be counted. So why do we put the over here? Because in this case, the brave, when you say the brave, for this purpose, for the purpose of this sentence, brave is not an abstract noun. For the purpose of the sentence, you are talking about all brave people. So here, this is more like an adjective noun. This is more like an adjective noun. We will learn more about this when we will discuss adjectives, inshallah, very soon, maybe in the coming week. But for now, you must know that brave, for the purpose of this sentence, for the purpose of this very sentence, it is not an abstract noun, but is referring to all brave people. So you're referring to all brave people. Since you're referring to all brave people, and definitely all brave people, which is why you're using the definite article the before this particular word, brave, right? Because in this case, brave is no more an adjective, but has become a noun, a concrete noun. Okay, so we say fortune favors the brave. All right, okay. I hope this is clear. Rajiv Debnath wants me to talk a little slower. Okay, I'll try my best. All right, moving forward. So done with the exceptions for a or an. What do we have here? Putting articles before adjectives. Now here, let's see this. Many a time we find an adjective before a noun. In such a case, we may also have to put an article before such a noun that is modified by an adjective. So how do we do so? The usual order is article plus adjective plus noun. We put indefinite articles before singular nouns, and if a singular noun is modified by an adjective, then the indefinite article to be put before such an adjective modified noun must be in agreement with the adjective that immediately follows it. Consider the following examples. A rotten apple, an interesting story, a big house, an honest man. Okay, so what's happening here? So you can see, many a time, you have to, or we put adjectives before singular nouns to define the nouns better. Why do we use adjectives? What are adjectives? Briefly speaking, adjectives are words that define quality, words that tell you more about a noun, right? So when you put an adjective before a singular noun, you must also put an article to make it complete, right? So how exactly do you do so? What is the formula, or what is the word order to do so? The word order is? Okay. The word order is, of course, at first you put article, then you put your adjective, and then you put your noun, right? So for example, if you say a rotten apple, right? If you say a rotten apple, in this case, the noun is apple, and right before the noun, you are not putting the article, but an adjective. Now, if you put an adjective, like in this case, rotten, you have to make sure that your article agrees with the sound of the adjective and not the noun. So you cannot say an rotten apple, because an or the article is not going to agree with the ultimate noun here. The article is going to agree with the word that immediately follows it. So in this case, the word rotten is following the article a. So we say a rotten apple, okay? A rotten apple, and not an rotten apple. Similarly, an interesting story. Now take a look at this. The noun is, of course, story, and the word and the article an is modifying or is talking about the story. Yes, one interesting story, but should you say a interesting story? Because A is supposed to modify the noun story? No, of course not. Although A denotes that you're talking about one interesting story, but your article must follow the sound or must be in agreement with the sound of the word or the adjective that is immediately following it. So the adjective interesting happens to be in between your article and your noun, and therefore the article must be in agreement with the sound of the adjective that is immediately following it. So in this case, we have an interesting story. An interesting story. Okay? A big house, an honest man. Similar situations in both these examples as well. A big house, an honest man. A rotten apple, an interesting story. A big house, an honest man. Okay? All right. I hope we're clear so far. And what about this? Do we put articles before uncountable nouns? Do we put articles before uncountable nouns? Well, we may put the definite article before an uncountable. Let's read what we have on this slide. I'm going to enlarge the screen so all of you can read the slide better. Okay, so do we put articles before uncountable nouns? Well, we may put the definite article before an uncountable noun, but we surely cannot put an indefinite article before an uncountable noun. The indefinite articles a and an denote the number 1. Therefore, surely we cannot count uncountable nouns or objects, and accordingly, we cannot put either of the indefinite articles before such nouns. Consider the following examples. The water, that's correct, but you can never say a water, right? That's it. That would be, if you did so, it would be incorrect. We cannot say, please pass me a water, but we can definitely say, please pass me a glass of water. We cannot say, I have a news for you, right? But we can surely say, I have some news for you. If we can turn an uncountable noun into a countable form, then we very well can put an indefinite article before it. Take the examples of a water and a glass of water. We cannot count water, but we can count glasses. So we can say, please give me a glass of water. All right? I'll try to make this even clearer. Okay. So, first of all, can we put articles before uncountable nouns? We know that uncountable nouns are uncountable and, they're never counted because they are not countable. And we cannot just say one water because water is an uncountable noun. Let's just take the example of water and let's say, can we say one water? We cannot. Likewise, we cannot say a water or an water. But yes, we can say the water if we are being specific about some water, right? So the definite article the can definitely be put before uncountable nouns as long as the uncountable nouns are definite or as long as the uncountable nouns are specific, right? So as we were discussing earlier, that we said the milk, right? Because the milk, although milk in this case or in that case was an uncountable noun because you cannot possibly count milk, but you could very well say the milk because you were being very specific. You were being specific about the milk that you drank, right? Now, which milk did you drink? Which milk were you talking about? You were talking about the milk that you had or that you drank at breakfast. Likewise, if you're going to talk about water and a very specific and a specific quantity of water, you can very well say the water, such as, for example, the water I drank last night was contaminated. The water I drank last night was contaminated. So in this case, you're being specific about the water you drank, right? You're not talking about just any quantity or any amount of water, but the very water you drank last night. So you can put definite articles. We can put the definite article before countable nouns. However, on the other hand, we very well cannot put the indefinite articles a or an before uncountable nouns. Why not? Because indefinite articles denote the number 1. They mean 1. Now, uncountable nouns can never be 1. That's because they're uncountable. We cannot say 1 water, 2 milk, 3 air. We cannot say that. So we cannot say a water, a milk, or an air. We cannot say that, right? Okay. So what can we say or what can we do? If there is by any chance a means to transform your uncountable noun into a countable form, then we may be able to put the indefinite articles before such nouns. Okay? All right. Say, for example, take a look at the example over here. We cannot say, please pass me a water, but we can definitely say, please pass me a glass of water, because you pour water into a glass and now your water is in a concrete form. Or you can say your water is now in a countable form because you've put it in a glass, and glass is countable, but water isn't. So you can say, pass me a glass of water, or buy me a bottle of water. You can say so, but you cannot say, buy me a water. But yes, you can on the other hand, you may also be able to say, buy me some water, right? Okay, likewise, we learned when we were discussing nouns the other day that words such as news, information, these are also uncountable nouns because you cannot count them. So can we say, I have a news for you? Oftentimes, we do say so. Many a time we do say so. We come up and we say that I have a news for you, but that is grammatically incorrect. I don't have a news for you. I have some news for you because I cannot count news. News is not quantifiable in that sense, right? So I can say, I have some news for you. I have some information for you. Say, for example, you have only one piece of information for me. So note what I said, not one information, not an information, but a piece of information for me or for you, a piece of advice. Advice is also another uncountable noun. So we never say, I have an advice for you. Now you say, I have a piece of advice for you. Or if you have more than one piece of advice, you say, I have some advice for you, not advices, but just advice. So I have some advice for you, like that. Okay? All right. Now I'm going to take you to another website from where I'm going to discuss a little bit more about articles, and I really think that is important, which is what I'm about to do. So please bear with me. Okay, I hope this is visible. Now we're going to see how we use articles with pronouns. Let's read what we have here. Now, possessive pronouns can help identify whether you're talking about specific or non-specific items. As we've seen, articles also indicate specificity. But if you use both a possessive pronoun and an article at the same time, readers will become confused. Possessive pronouns are words like his, my, our, its, her, and their. Articles should not be used with pronouns. Consider the examples below. Now, we were discussing pronouns yesterday, right? We were discussing pronouns yesterday, and we learned a bit of, we learned some, one or two things about pronouns yesterday. So can we put articles before pronouns? This particular slide discusses that. Can we say, why are you reading my book? Of course not. We can't say that. We cannot say that, why are you reading my book? The and my should not be used together since they are both meant to modify the same noun. Instead, you should use one or the other depending on the intended meaning. You can say, why are you reading the book? Or you can say, why are you reading my book? Right? You follow? Why are you reading the book? Or why are you reading my book? You follow? Right. You either say the book. Now, this book could be yours. This book could not be yours. You don't want to mention it. So you don't keep any pronoun here. You don't mention any pronoun here. You just say, why are you reading the book? The one that the other person is reading. But if you want to talk about and mention that that the book is yours, so in that case, you say, why are you reading my book? Maybe without my permission, which is what I'm asking you. So why are you reading my book? All right? Okay. Now, omission of articles. When do we not keep articles at all? When do we not use articles at all? Or when do we omit articles? Let's read this. I'll enlarge the screen for you so you can read better. All right. Occasionally, articles are omitted altogether before certain nouns. Occasionally, articles are omitted altogether before certain nouns. In these cases, the article is implied but not actually present. This implied article is sometimes called a zero article. Often, the article is omitted before nouns that refer to abstract ideas. Look at the following examples. Let's go out for a dinner tonight. Is that good? Is that correct? It's not. We cannot say a dinner. Let's go out for a dinner tonight. No, it's incorrect. Rather, we say, let's go out for dinner tonight. The creativity is a valuable quality in children. The creativity is a valuable quality in children. Is this correct? No, it's not. We cannot say or we cannot put any article before abstract nouns as creativity. Creativity is a valuable quality in children. Creativity is a valuable quality in children. All right. So let's read this out once again. Occasionally, articles are omitted together before. Occasionally, articles are omitted altogether before certain nouns. In these cases, the article is implied but not actually present. This implied article is sometimes called a zero article. Do you know the meaning of the word implied? It means something that needs no mentioning. All right. Because it is already understood to be present, but it does not have to be present in a material form. It does not have to be spelled out. It does not have to be written. Okay? It's impliedly understood, right? It's understood without having it present. Okay. So in such cases, we call the articles zero articles because we will not mention those articles or write them. Okay? So although, of course, you're going to go out for dinner and maybe you will have just one event of dinner, you will not say a dinner, but you will just say dinner. So we say, let's go out for dinner tonight. Let's go out for breakfast tomorrow morning. Let's have lunch. Let's have lunch at this restaurant or at that restaurant. So you don't say, let's have a lunch or the lunch, right? We will not say so. We will just say, let's have lunch. Okay? All right. Similarly, certain abstract nouns such as creativity needs no articles needs no article before it. Pardon me. Creativity is a valuable quality in children. Creativity is a valuable quality in children. Now, before languages, many languages and nationalities are not preceded by an article. Consider the example below. I studied the French in high school for 4 years. Incorrect. Because you're talking about French in the sense that you're talking about the French language. But you don't want to say the French language, right? You only want to say French, and you don't want to mention the language part. So you just say French, and you don't keep any article, or you don't put any article before French. So you say, I studied French in high school for 4 years. Likewise, you can say, I studied English for 2 years. But if you want to mention the language with it, along with it, so in that case, you say, I studied the English language for 4 years or for 2 years. Okay? Sports and academic subjects do not require articles as well. Okay. I like to play the baseball. Incorrect. I like to play baseball. My sister was always good at the math. No, my sister was always good at math. So before names of languages, before names of sports, before names of subjects, we do not put articles. We do not put any articles. We do not put a, we do not put and, we do not put the. So we just say, I'm good at physics. I'm good at English. I'm good at basketball. I'm good at cricket. I like to play cricket. I like to play tennis. I like to swim, or I like swimming, right? So no articles needed in these cases. Okay? I hope I'm clear. Now, I think we've got some questions here. I'm about to answer the questions. Just a moment. Right. So what questions do we have here? We have a question from Taif. If I want to specify that I need the glass of water on the table, can I use the before glass? I need the glass of water. Yeah, definitely, of course, because you want to be more specific about the glass of water, the glass that is on a table or on the table. So yes, you can definitely do so. As long as you want to specify things, right, you can definitely go with the definite article, right? But if you need no specification, then of course you don't have to put the definite article, and you can go with indefinite articles given they are usable. So you can say, yes, please pass me the glass of water that is on that table. The glass of water. Maybe there are many, but you are being very specific about one particular glass of water, and the person that you're asking also happens to know which glass of water that you're asking for. So you can say, please pass me the glass of water that is on that table. Okay? Yes, you can say so. Sultan Al Arafat has another question. Is it okay to say, let's go out for a walk? Contrary, let's go out for dinner. Yes, we can say our walk. That can be said. Yes, let's go out for a walk. Let's go out for a run. Let's go out for For a jog, yes. That can be done. Contrary to dinner, yes. For dinner, breakfast, delicious, we don't put articles before these. We just say, let's go out for dinner, let's go out for breakfast tomorrow morning, let's go out and have lunch, but we don't say let's go out for, but we can say let's go out for a walk, yes. Okay. Can we say abstract nouns? Can we say abstract nouns don't take articles? Well, mostly they don't. Generally, of course, they don't, because they're in an abstract form, and abstract nouns generally are. You see, since they're abstract and not in any concrete form, you cannot possibly count them, right? So, for example, you cannot say that education, the word education, is countable. It's not. It's because education is an abstract noun, right? And most abstract nouns are uncountable. And since most abstract nouns are uncountable, we cannot possibly put the indefinite articles before abstract nouns. But yes, we can definitely put the definite article before abstract nouns if we are being specific enough for any indefinite article. So you can say the education that I received all my life has been very fruitful. That you can say the education that the education that I received back in school is now coming in handy. That you can say, yes, because you're being specific about which education, about the education that you're talking about, right? Okay. I hope this answers your query. Linza Moni has another question. In which days next class will be held here, sir? Okay, so we're going to conduct our classes from Monday to Friday every week, inshallah, until the end of this course. And the timing, as you know, every session will start at 7:30 and will continue up to 8:30. Okay? I think we've had a very fruitful session today because there were many good questions, many good comments from you. And thank you so much for making your queries, for posting your queries and questions, because when you do so, the entire session becomes very interactive and it becomes much enjoyable for me. And I hope the session becomes enjoyable for you as well. And the more questions you throw at me, the better the session becomes, because the more knowledge somehow we all harness. Okay? All right then. So I hope to see all of you again, inshallah, on Monday. So until then, everyone, please take good care of yourselves. And yes, stay well. Enjoy your weekend. Allah Hafiz.